It's another hot day here in Hamilton. It's June 19th. I don't even quite know what the temperature is. I haven't checked, but I can tell you right now it's probably in the high 30s. Um, can't really sit in the tent. I'd be dead. So I'm out here. I really have to go to the library. It's 2:50 now. I got to go to the library and try and charge some of my stuff. I probably have like less than 50% on this phone right now. And I got like 70 cents to my name, so I can't even like go to Tim Hortons and get a coffee. So I got to go to the library. They're only open till 7, so I really only have like, by the time I get there, I'll have a few hours. But I wanted to make this video because this has just been something that's been weighing on my mind. And considering it's men's, mental health month and nobody's really talking about it out there, I figured, you know, we have to get these stories out there. And everybody that watches any of my content, you already know the stuff that I've dealt with the family court system, being falsely accused, the whole 9 yards. You already know the story. But what a lot of people don't know is, there's a lot of other stuff that's happened as well. Like my ex-wife, for example, in one of the videos that I put out, was stalking me. And a lot of people have asked me, like, why is she doing that? Like, there's got to be purpose. I don't know. She's narcissistic, so explain it to me, to be honest, because I don't fully understand why narcissists even do what they do. Because, even though everybody does have narcissistic traits, some people take it to the extreme. And I've said many times, and I'm not regretting it, my ex-wife is like a demon, so I don't know. Why do people do what they do nowadays? You look at everything that's going on in the world, really. And that's where, I actually do have a lot of sympathy, and I really haven't talked about this a lot because, I tried to focus more on the family law aspects of things. But when you look at it in the greater picture, a lot of these things are never going to change because society's on a fucking collapse right now. And, a lot of people don't get how it feels, when you're that person that stood up to it and you kind of have been like blacklisted. And that's actually a very good term to use, is blacklisted. Um, Ever since February of 2020, when I put a permit into Parliament to have a protest there on April 24th of 2020, I literally put myself on that blacklist. And that's what a lot of people have really not fully understood with my part of my story. And you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I have to live it. It's no secret that my social media content has a lot of it been shadow banned. Not even some of my close friends see some of my posts because that's what they do. They limit us, right? So if what first started on Facebook, and most of my Facebook content at one time was getting thousands upon thousands of likes, views every day. Then it stopped. Now we've experienced the same thing with on Instagram in the last couple of years, or the same thing. So I turned to TikTok for pretty much the last year, and that seemed to boost it. Within like, I think it was 4 or 5 months, I had like 1.5 million views on most of my content. Now we've come to that standstill again. And it all boils down to, what people don't realize is that when you stand up to it and you demand that things get changed, they don't like that word. They don't. And I take you back to an interview that Justin Trudeau was in when asked about, the Emergencies Act. And he basically said that we can protest all we want because we do have those fundamental rights. But once we start making demands, it becomes worrisome. And that's his words, not mine. So we all know what that meant, with the Emergencies Act, is they were able to do whatever they wanted to do. They monitored your social sorry. They monitored your social media accounts. They froze your bank accounts. They looked into every aspect of who these people were that were, the leaders, or the ones that were organizing these things and helping create what happened with the Freedom Rally. So what do you think they did to me? Why do you think that I live in a tent and I can't get anywhere? I was just speaking with my friend Ron, who has been like a father figure to me, as many of you know that watch my videos. I was just telling him, putting all this together and actually telling people, it's going to be hard for them to even comprehend. But people that have gone through this and people that have stood up for things in their lives, you know exactly what I'm telling you is the truth, right? But the difference with me is I'm a nobody, right? I'm just a dad that went through the system and exposed it, and then it got used against him, and I don't back down. So they make it very difficult for people like me to now try and bounce back into society. And this video is probably going to be the same thing. It's full of truth because I live it and I can prove these things as well. When I said that, April 24th, I had Parliament literally the Parliament Protection Service literally meet me, and they knew who I was. And it's because they called me the day before. They had my phone number, my email, everything. And, they said that it was because they had pulled my information from the permit. All my information has changed since 2020. As many of you know, I've been everywhere because of this bullshit. So I didn't have that phone number then, and I can honestly prove it. I have documentation. As well as all of these encounters with Parliament Protection Service. They think that we're not going to talk about these things. They think that we're not going to get these things out there. But this is what our government does. And our government right now is not in any type of situation to be doing this to its citizens right now. Because there's way bigger things that you need to be worrying about. The healthcare system is a fucking joke. When people got to wait years to get family doctors, that's a problem. And it's because we're overpopulated. There's not even enough doctors to go around for the people that live here anymore. Homelessness, like myself, I can show you right now that, there's a small tent behind me, which is basically I use as my storage, but, that's my tent right there. It fell apart in the winter. I had to do what I had to do to get it back together because I know this is a long haul, because look at the situation that we're in this country. Our government does not care about its own citizens when we're giving away $5 billion to go fund a war when we got a war within our own country. And that war is being inflicted by our own government. It's not a secret anymore. So if you cannot see it, then you're on the wrong side. That's just how it is. And I'm sorry to say that to you, but that's just how it is. You can't sugarcoat that. You cannot sugarcoat the fact that this country is falling apart. And it is very hard to get help nowadays. I was just looking at an article just before, I got to bed last night. And it was about the homelessness problem really everywhere in Canada. Victoria, BC actually is where the article came from. And, it's crazy the way that we're just being disregarded. For me, it's bad enough that I had the stigma that, I was falsely accused and everybody thought that I was a sexual predator and, a wife beater. But, when the truth came out, nobody wanted to take accountability that shit. We were wrong. Our opinion of what was happening was wrong. So, and, trying to take accountability today for people is like, it's not happening. So, we wonder why that these problems are existing in our society and they're not getting any better. And it's because of our governments. That's what they want us to do. They're separating us even further constantly, even on social media, for example, with this whole generation bullshit that's going around. They're trying to pit now generations against each other. Like, come on, people, you got to wake up and see it. You have to. We're on the brink of something that is huge, but we need to take the stand on this because this is absolutely mind-boggling how there's not more people that have really awakened to this. You know what I mean? It's clear as day to me. So that's really the what I've had to deal with, being an advocate for the last almost 5 years, is that I knew that I was going to be on this blacklist, this target list. They're going to know everything about me. I already knew that. Even I'm telling you the truth when I say this, that the conversations that I had with these parliament guys, they're actually not too bad of guys. That's why I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to ruin their reputations, but I'm going to expose the government for what it is. But these guys were flat out, kind of honest, I guess you could say, where some truths did come out, where, when I asked them, where'd you get my phone number? Because it wasn't on that application, they said, oh, well, we got it from the horse's mouth. Well, as much as it may be a joke, I know where that leads to. And that's exactly what me and my buddy said, is that, yeah, we know exactly what you're talking about there. And there's a lot of different things that, people would be mind blown, but it's happening. It is. To me, it's kind of, yesterday I was trying to figure out to myself, I'm not shitting people when I say I have about 200 resumes out on Indeed, searching for a job in the last couple of months, ever since this rally wrapped up. I decided I'll stay in Hamilton and let's get a job. Let's focus on that now. Literally 200. I'm not shitting you. And I haven't had one call back. Not one. Is that not awkward? Like, is that not awkward? I do have an education, and I'm not saying that, that's overpowering than somebody that doesn't. But is that not awkward? And really, it's the fact that we're an overpopulated country. We can't even support the people that are in this country. We couldn't for the last 9 years with Trudeau in government. He's ruined this country. You know what I mean? It's a sad state that we're in right now. And to be honest, I just don't think that there's going to be enough people that is really going to be able to make a serious change. Because I proved it with the rally. I had a lot of support for the rally. Obviously, I talked to numbers, 1.5 million views on most of that content. Although there was some organizational problems, and I'll take responsibility for some of them, but when you have an organization that is not being truthful and causing a lot of stir, then you're going to have some problems. And despite all of that, people needed to realize that it wasn't about any of that, to be honest. It was about us standing up for our kids. And to me, I thought the message was pretty clear. You just really needed to show up at your family courthouses. People were asking me, well, what do we do? Well, you go to the dollar store, you buy a sign, and you post what your issue is with them. That's the only way that if we're all doing that all at once, then, we would have got some attention. But with the very few that did do it, nobody even, it's like it didn't happen. It's like it was erased. And I'm used to this feeling of being erased. Trust me. What I'm telling you is not it's not bullshit. I'm telling you the fucking God's honest truth. And I have everything documented. That's why I've been doing all of these videos. I've been doing it forever, since all of this started. Some people write books, which I'm doing, but I decided to document it from pretty much the get-go, whereas a lot of people will never take that risk. And, well, like I've been telling you, when you take those risks, this is what happens. And it's very difficult to get out of. Trust me. And it's even more difficult when you got a narcissistic ex that doesn't stop as well. That just adds fuel to the fire. Like, and you know what I mean? You have to be strong for this, because if you're not going to make it. And, like, trust me, it's difficult. It's hard. Like, when I don't even know the next time I'm going to eat. Like, I don't know when the next time I'm going to eat right now. I haven't eaten in a few days. I don't know when the next time is going to be. I have 70 cents to my name. So, yeah. And it's so hot right now that I can't really keep anything. So everything's got to be dry goods. And that's why it becomes expensive. People don't realize, like, the actual expense that you got to accumulate too with being homeless. If you get $50 here, $100 there, $20, whatever it is, it's pretty much gone right away, because you need so much stuff, and stuff is not cheap right now. So I try as best as I can to ration. Some days I'll just go to Tim Hortons and have a coffee and a donut, and that's all I'll have, because I can go there and charge my devices, do a lot of work, search for work, do different things while I'm there. And at least, that's like less than $4. But there's times where, when I go to the grocery store and everything is so overpriced that anytime I get any money, it's gone. These are things that people that aren't homeless, you don't realize that actually happens. And this would have been one thing that if I hadn't been homeless, I would have not realized as well. That it is fucking expensive. And I don't have these other issues that a lot of the homeless people do, that they're alcoholics and they're drug addicts. I don't even remember the last time I had a fucking beer. And I don't do drugs, so, the worst I do is smoke cigarettes. So, and even then, like, I have to ration that. I haven't had a cigarette in like 2 days, so, yeah, I need to quit, but, stress. One thing at a time. It's crazy, though. It is. It's absolutely nuts. The way that, just the way that everything is. And, our government just sits back and it's okay. And our society is now hypnotized to think that these things are just the normal, and everybody is just disposable. It's fucked up, because we're all human beings. I was a dad at one point too, before all of this bullshit started. And I didn't really ask for this, but I'll take accountability for the stuff that I've done, and the situation that I'm in. I put myself in it because I knew that I didn't want anybody else to have to go through it. So I'm homeless because I actually chose it. I don't want anybody else to have to, suffer the bullshit that I got to go through. So why pass that energy off to somebody else? So I'm in the bush, secluded by myself. Whereas even a lot of other homeless people are around other homeless people in encampments. I'm not. I'm isolated. So this is what happens, though, and this is now 2024. It's fucking absolutely, it's sad, and it's mind-blowing that this is where we're at now. So, I don't know. I'm going to go to the library. It's now 10 after 3. I'm going to go to the library and keep pushing. Like, I'm going to keep pushing until I can't anymore. This heat is just brutal right now. So I got to go get some water. I have some water right now, but I got, that's the rest of it. So I got to go get some water from the bathroom, bring that down later. But I got to go to the library and charge stuff because my phone is probably going to die soon and all of my charger packs are dead. So, you know, the joys of having to go through this fucked up time right now. And, you know, it's not just even the family court, it's just the way that the world is and the way that Canada is right now. What are you going to do? Because there's not enough people that are actually, you know, taking that stance and have taken that stance. So until they do, you know, or until the government's fucking plan finally falls through and now you're all fucked. Uh, I don't know. I probably should stop talking though now before this video does get banned. So I'll talk to everybody later.